What were we talking about earlier?
We were talking about a lot of shit. There was SCP-3456 that we just freaked each other out with.
No,
that one threw me off. I will say it's like
that was a couple seconds ago.
Like
the metal things. That's what it was. The metal thing.
Well, we figured out what the finale to 2020 is going to be, which is the monoliths that have been sighted in, firstly, Utah, secondly, Romania, and this week,
you think aliens are coming
California.
back, bro?
I mean, Jesus. So I didn't think too much of it as like, monolith. Again, this is going to be 2 for 2 for bringing up 2001: A Space Odyssey. But like when the monkey touched the monolith and then knew how to make fire and so on and so forth, like monoliths have a certain stature in our goddamn culture. And to see one, and the only thing that creeped me out about it is that the same day that a new monolith was found in Romania was the same day that the monolith went missing in Utah. So that creeped me out a little bit. Could it just be like you were saying, like a Banksy kind of thing, like maybe an artist that's trying to freak out the American public? Cool.
Yeah, but the thing about that is, that's like an Occam's razor type thing. The simplest answer is usually the correct one. So a guy has some discreet friends in different areas of the world. And, when he gives them the go-ahead, they go and deposit the thing on the day that he or a compatriot removes it from another place.
Well, then let's go Occam's razor on this new vaccine, man. Like, they're just trying to fix the fucking problem. So there's your boring explanation.
It's true.
So if you want to go Occam's razor, that's it. There's a new crisis that we're trying to just solve, and there's nothing maleficent behind it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I agree. That's also an application.
However, I'm sure Occam's razor was not applied to what happened in Manichaeanism to start off this fucking podcast with it. Occam's razor didn't explain what happened in Nazi Germany. Occam's razor didn't explain what was happening in Stalin's Russia, and Occam's razor might not explain everything that we know.
I know that. That's why I'm only pausing it to not really for you,
right?
But to let the listeners know that yes, we've considered
the
whole gambit all the way out to the most implausible.
We're not UFO chasers. We're not trying to track down Bigfoot. But when shit like this happens, it does perk our ear.
You should probably. I think this is a healthy mental exercise for people in every aspect of their life.
How I like to break a mental sweat too.
Yeah.
Let me take that again. You know how I like to break a mental sweat too. There we go.
I thought you said make her mental sweat.
No. That's why I took it the second time, because
you even thought
I was still swallowing when I was trying to get it out.
Yeah,
so
yeah, no, I just wasn't going to question it because I was like, I'm sure he's got a meaning to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to gloss over that one.
No, so yes, so we have considered everything from the mundane.
It's a potential.
Anyway, before I was very rudely interrupted, what I was getting to about a helpful self-audit to do every once in a while is when you're examining anything that happens in this world. And it could be as simple as stuff that happens in your career all the way out to like big stuff like a global pandemic, is just ask yourself, okay, how many things do I have to say in order for me to see the world the way I think the world works? How many times do I have to say, well, that's probably a coincidence? Okay. And then the follow-up question to that is, how many coincidences do you need to stop always only defaulting to, well, it's just a coincidence?
Well, I think
if just ask yourself that question. I'm not telling you what the answer has to be, but doing that to yourself regularly is helpful.
To help them out is the phrase that I learned from you: once is an accident, twice is a trend, and 3 times is a habit. Like, I'd give it 3. Because 3 seems to be a pretty prevalent number in our society.
Like, oh God, he's getting deep again.
3 strikes and you're out.
33rd degree Mason.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
we're on to him. We're on to David. He's trying to take over.
Thank
the world.
you. You took that a lot further than I was anticipating you to do. But that's I'd say 3. If the government's involved, go ahead and break that down to 1, because there is no such thing as coincidence with the government. Just the illusion of coincidence.
Yeah, but which kind of gets into that. I think a lot of people don't really.
Which this is all very segueable into what our podcast is. Can I tie this one up with a bow? I think the aliens invade December 31st, 2020, and I don't think it's Independence Day. I think they're just like, you guys.
Well, of course, because Independence Day is long
What
over,
did you do? What did you do to this place? We gave you this awesome place to fucking party on, and you've turned it into a cesspool where you're bombing everybody. Chill out, guys. Christ, it's not that big a deal.
So you think they're coming back?
I think they're going to be
nice.
I think they're going to come back and be nice.
That is a good point. I think.
Well, I hope, because if they come back to be mean and they're capable of coming back,
I was about ready to segue again.
They're going to destroy
you did a good
us.
job of tying up intro banter, so I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Launching in right now.
3, 2, 1, blast off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Weapons of Meme Destruction, episode 21. You can find this at wmdpodcast.com/21. We are out of the gulag this week. I know you're all very happy to hear that.
We had a really good law team that got us out of there.
Yeah, they knew law stuff and they did some legal stuff, and then now we're out.
They sprechen Sie Deutsch.
So that's good. wmdpodcast.com/21 is where you find this episode.
Wow, we didn't
show notes.
Again, gonna give you kudos. We didn't even talk about what episode was.
We got this baby.
I'm
figured
glad
out.
you actually care about this podcast.
This is a well-oiled machine. Podcast catchers, YouTube. Check us out on social media: Instagram, Twitter, all the good stuff.
Wunderbar.
So today's episode, we are talking about
cards, like gift cards, like holiday cards, birthday cards. You know, they usually come with a nice little present.
The St. Louis cards and the Arizona cards.
Oh, dang. That's
just the general animal
that's
cards.
So wrong. That's a cardinal.
I know.
But that's so wrong, it might as well be right.
Ooh. Poker cards.
Poker cards.
Got that one.
Identification cards. Ooh.
I don't know if I like that one.
Key cards that open up things. Well, certain cards that you play against your friends.
Jumping off on that identification cards, David and I
information against you
have some things to say. It's probably a shock to you that we do.
Video games have a lot of cards.
David,
key cards.
We're in the episode now.
Are we?
Yes.
So I have to be serious?
Yes.
Damn it.
Moderately more than you currently are.
You know you can never get me to be fully serious.
Yes, the identification cards okay. People are going to jump down our throats already, less than 10 minutes in. We know they're not ID COVID cards, but the cards that you've probably seen
better than up our ass
all over the media is the COVID cards that are basically listen, people, it's just a simple reminder to remind you when to get your COVID shots. It's like that little sticker when you go to the mechanic and they put the little change oil next time here. That's all. You got to get your first COVID vaccine, and then you're going to need about probably 47 more before you die. Well, and we got to make sure that you're on time
before the reveal was revealed.
Yeah.
It's about the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to get into it at some point, David. I wasn't going to let you keep talking about cards for the next 4 years and be like, oh, by the way, we're talking about COVID cards.
Listen, that's a yellow card. Okay? Do it one more time, catch red.
Okay.
All right?
Anywho.
Then this will be just David's podcast for the next 2 episodes. And you don't want
the rest of this one and then another one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You're not going to erase me from the beginning of this
You're in the book, son. You're in the book.
Okay. Anyway, back to theme, please, for the love of God.
Damn it. Fine.
Okay.
Have it your way. Have it your way.
COVID cards. Dane, David, why don't you like them? What's the problem with this? I'm gonna let David go. He's just chomping at the bit to say something. I'm sure it's profound. David,
I believe
take it away.
it's champing at the bit. Anywho, I like cards, like I was saying before. However, this particular card seems very flary, and I don't mean flashy like Ric Flair. Woo! You know, I mean very flary pieces of flair that the Nazis made the Jews wear, i.e. Manichaeanism coming into the fucking episode.
Not every
seven,
episode
was it
is
seven?
about Manichaeanism.
Is it 7 minutes? But no, I mean, that's kind of, it's the denotation to everybody else that tells you that you're
right.
part
If
of
you
the
have
team.
a card, you're a
If you
good
have a
person.
card,
If you don't, you're a bad person.
Right, exactly. Now
Perfect
it comes,
application.
we
You're
come
correct.
down to the card that says that you're part of the team. You're part of the Dames. Come on in here. You're on the good side. Come on in. However, if you are a conscientious objector and don't have a card, you might as well be who? Stalin. That's right. I allotted you to think Hitler and hit you with Stalin.
Wait,
Wanted
you're
you to think
Stalin.
I was coming left and I went right.
You're Stalin if you don't want the card?
Well, I mean, that was the closest. The Red Scare, Cold War. We were scared of the Russians, still scared of the Russians. Putin's got
we're communists.
Right, we're communists.
Wait, we're communists if we don't want to do the collective thing?
Dane, don't you know socialism is in the presidential office now? Don't you know that? The first time a presidential socialism.
I feel like this joke is far too attenuated. I see what you're saying now.
Wait, hold on. Say that. Say that word one more time. Attenuated.
Attenuated. That's the word for the day.
Yeah, I think Carlos, vocab word of the day. Here you go.
Attenuated. Yes, I get what you're trying to say is like everybody because of their Manichaeanism.
If you're not on our team, you might as well be the enemy.
Right. They use the most, vitriolic, damaging word they could possibly think of to stick to
And
somebody.
you can't argue against this because we have science on our side.
Right, but
science.
Science.
That's been 2 months of science.
Because right, but I guess the reason why I'm saying why I was stumbling over the joke is because we're being selfish individualists and we're not doing the collective thing. That's
Correct.
what makes us bad.
Correct. How dare you go against what all the Buffalo are running with?
Right. So to call us
the entire pack is running this way. Why aren't you running with the pack?
Yeah.
Because there's a fucking cliff down that side. No, this is the way. This is how we get away from these Indians that are trying to shoot us with arrows.
The science have told us.
This is what science says.
Yes. No, I got you. Okay. To the point from the pre-roll about Occam's razor, yes, the simplest explanation is, as David already said there, is, well, this is just a really bad virus, bro, and we just got to have a vaccine. Got to fix everybody. Yes, that's the simple explanation.
Boring.
Yeah, that's the simple explanation. The other explanation
You want to go Mel Gibson? Want to go Mel Gibson?
No.
Conspiracy theory. He's in the movie called Conspiracy Theory.
I'm glad, of course, on this topic, the word has to come up. Because
anytime
I feel like there's a little edumacating that needs to go on here.
Sure.
Because that phrase has become such a part of our culture that, it just, it shuts down any conversation you want.
Oh, you're just,
and
how many times have you been hit with it? Dane, just to give a little, not to cut you off, because that's what I do. How many times with our background have you been told that you're just a conspiracy theorist because of what our history is with our grandpa?
Oh, because the U.S. government would never abandon American soldiers
again
on purpose.
Yeah, you just
The
don't
audacity.
distrust because how dare you? Because once you see a chink in the armor, then you start pushing forward. But then,
well, and that's the other thing, right?
It's perspective. Right.
I'll tell you. Let's see. How many can I just list right off the top of my head? And David can confirm for you. I'm not looking at anything right now.
He isn't. He's got nothing up his sleeve.
Let's see. MK Ultra, Operation Northwoods, Operation Paperclip, Operation Fast and Furious.
Bay of Pigs? You want to go Bay of Pigs too?
Bay of Pigs. Let's see. Should we keep going? The Lusitania, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. This one isn't confirmed one way or another, but the JFK assassination, right? Every single one of these things.
This is a conspiracy.
That we know for a fact happened was before we knew that it happened a conspiracy theory.
By the way.
So get mad at people for not automatically just hearing the Occam's razor explanation and saying, yep, that's it, done, analysis over. Get mad at the person who doesn't do that and maybe ask the follow-up question if you want. But I'm just saying, not every single thing, not every single question is just so easily dismissible. Like, conspiracy theory, don't gotta listen to it.
Oh, but that's another tool, isn't it? It's another tool to silence the naysayers, to silence the logical, critical thinking. Critical thinking goes, okay, they're telling me to do this, and that's their motive that they're giving me, but the actions don't meet the motive. So what is the real action behind it? Let me think about it for a second, and if I can conclude that those actions vis-a-vis down the road sync up with it, then yeah, absolutely, I'll adhere to it. But I have to actually think about it myself and search my feelings about the evidence that is in front of me.
Right. And so when you use the word tool, that also made me reminded me of another teaching point is people don't realize that the term conspiracy theory didn't exist before the 1960s. True. The CIA came up with the phrase. Obviously, they didn't invent the word conspiracy and they didn't invent the word theory. But the way that we think of conspiracy theory and the way that it's used was literally come up with by the CIA during the JFK investigation, because everybody was like, I don't know, man, a lot of this stuff looked pretty damn sus. They say this dude hit this guy from range. He wasn't even that good of a marksman.
3 times, by the way.
Yeah,
from 3 different angles.
Yeah. All of the things that go into that investigation. Right. All I'm saying is there were people that were questioning in real time as the investigation was ongoing, and the CIA came out with conspiracy theory. And you put that all over the media, and now, fast forward, 60 years later, conspiracy theory is this end all be all. It's like this magical staff, you plant it in the ground, and anything that was said to you before that is just, you dismiss it. You don't even have to talk about it.
Again, it's like,
I left one off my list. I left one off my list. Weapons of mass destruction. It's a conspiracy that Saddam doesn't have those, and it's a conspiracy that he wasn't involved in 9/11. Nope, he wasn't. Just an excuse to start another war, spend another $1 trillion.
Cake uranium.
Yeah.
There was never anything that they said.
None of it.
And then,
you're a conspiracy theorist, right, damn it, David. Support the American regime.
But the fucked up thing about that is that you never get the vindication. You never get the validation. You never get you get the vindiction, excuse me.
Vindication?
But you never get the vindication. You never get the catharsis of I guess you guys were right. You never get that because it's 10 years down the road and they come out and they say, oh, well, yeah, we totally lied.
Because if they admit that they were wrong.
That's my point.
If they admit that they were wrong, then they lose that whole element of the boy who cried wolf. And the next time they have some grand story to try to get you to go along to get along, people are going to be more suspect.
But that's what
they'll be hey, we remember you admitted you were wrong last time. That's why they don't admit till 80 years later. They declassify some documents secretly, and they're like, well,
that's what I was saying, though. It's nobody ever remembers those guys that were hey, I don't think that there's no way that Hussein could get yellow cake uranium from any of his allies, and the only way that he would get it is from his enemies, and nobody is as big an enemy to him or to us as to sell him uranium. Everybody said that, and they were all, you're a conspiracy theorist. How dare you? You need to support the troops. How dare you not support the troops?
Well, the funniest thing about the whole thing is if he would have had weapons of mass destruction, it's because we fucking sold it to him. We sold it to him so they could shoot it at Iran in the 80s. If he even had them. Which
this is proven that we sold weapons and ammunition and ordnance
to both sides.
The Kurds who he gassed, and we knew absolutely that he did. And then we still sold it we still kept business with him, and we kept business with the Kurds.
Because he wasn't pissing us off at the time.
Yeah, well, he wasn't pissing us off because he was doing what we wanted.
Right.
And then we started paying his enemies to kill him, and he found out, and then all of a sudden he's like, fuck you guys. And we're like, oh, he's an enemy now because he told us fuck you. Like,
yeah.
That's how that shit works.
So this detour about, conspiracy theory
right.
has gone on long enough. So I want to bring it back to center to finish.
So you know where we stand.
Yeah. So what we're talking about with the cards, like, listen, okay, it's a simple thing.
Well, hold on.
All it is
Dane,
like
backtrack. What is the card?
Started.
What is the card? Explain what the card is.
I said it earlier.
What it is.
It's like one of those little oil stickers. It's just a little thing that says, "Hey, you got your COVID vaccination on X day. Here's a reminder that your next one is 6 months from now." It's like something as simple as just getting your damn teeth cleaned.
Right.
Every 6 months, whatever. And I don't know how many rounds of vaccination. I jokingly said 47, but who knows? Maybe there's only 2. I don't know. That's not the point.
There's 2 now, but moving forward, who knows?
The point is, what's being floated as a good idea is to have these cards to remind people to get their vaccination. Now you say, oh, Dane, that doesn't sound so bad because it's still not a mandate. People can choose, and maybe they just need to remember. Okay, but what if then it starts being required that in order to get access to certain places? I mean, Biden already said it. He knows he doesn't have broad authority to like mandate it in your local mom and pop shop for you to wear a mask or lock down or whatever, but he can require it for entry to federal property. So like you can't get into a federal courthouse, and you can't drive on federal interstates, and you can't do anything that on national, land that's owned by the federal government. You can't do it there. Like they could say, you can't do these things on federal property unless you present your card. Nothing's stopping him from doing that. Now, at the more state and local level, there's nothing stopping those governments from saying, okay, you need to have this card to get into your local grocery store and go grocery shopping, to go to your mall, to go to a concert, to go to a sporting event. Okay, so now that again, hypothetically, if it goes that direction, now everybody has a card, a lot more than would have just done it voluntarily. And people start complaining, oh man, I lost my card or all this. They say, oh, well, that's okay. We'll give you a digital one. And it's like it could be like a credit card, or it could just be, something that's attached to your social security number. It's like the little gold stars you get on your driver's license so that you can fly commercially. You got to have this little mark on your thing that says that you're up with your vaccinations. Okay, that's simpler than carrying a card around. And they say, but what if, to get in and prove that you have your vaccination, you got to have a username and a passcode.
Here's what the conspiracy theory.
And what if you forget your passcode? Say that's okay. We're just gonna make it a permanent part of you in some form or fashion. All I'm saying is
Dane has removed himself from the party.
It doesn't have to go in that direction, but when you look at, again, the Jewish stars in Nazi Germany.
Burn notice for Dane Stuhlsatz.
You look at the tracking that happened in socialist and communist countries to get access to food and things like that.
Dane Stuhlsatz.
It's happened before. Why would this not also be possible? Can somebody answer me that question without
Dane
just simply
keeps interrupting the agent.
Conspiracy theory. David, your turn.
David, shit. Check that. First day on the intercom.
You gotta give me. That was only 3 minutes. Though. That wasn't that bad.
Dane Stuhlsatz is now persona non grata.
That was only 3 minutes. Cut me some slack.
You got all the slack, buddy.
It's only 10% of the episode.
All right. Well, in theory, as we all know.
Yes.
So, no, I'll agree with whatever the fuck you just said, just so I don't have to reiterate and rehash. But conspiratorially speaking, as we do, this is the perfect storm for exactly what's happening. Like the perfect storm for intruding upon our civil liberties and our private, our right to privacy as an American citizen was 9/11. And anybody who lost loved ones on 9/11, the whole country felt the pain of 9/11. However, these monsters...
The reaction to it.
Correct.
The opportunists who took advantage of that pain.
The Patriot Act. And remember, refer back to episode 19 and 20 about how whatever act is enacted...
the exact opposite
of whatever its name is.
Yeah, so you can guarantee yourself that the Patriot Act is going to be the most unpatriotic thing that you could ever imagine.
Correct.
And
so the Patriot Act opened the door for them to spy on us, for us to be labeled terrorists if they find anything they don't like.
Indefinitely detain us without due process.
They remove all your rights as an American citizen, or i.e. as a fucking human.
Fourth Amendment? What the fuck is that?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me, Dan? I don't carry my amendments.
No, your right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. There you go. Patriot Act says, fuck you, bro, you're a terrorist. It's ours.
And then
unlock the phone.
And if you're sitting there in your high tower saying that, well, I have voted for Obama. I would never vote for Bush. I voted for Democrats. Well, Obama also added teeth to that during his presidency. So you're not excluded from that Patriot Act shit anyway. So all that being said, this is another point where there is absolute turmoil, and we're looking for somebody to stand up and be the voice of reason that says they're going to take care of us and says that help is on the way. From what I've heard for the past... Be ready
to hold your breath for a long time,
folks. Right. From what I've heard for the past 9 months has been Fauci. And now Fauci's been giving the chief of medical staff in the new...
Administration.
Well,
he's going to retain his position he had, and then he's going to be on Biden's COVID response team. So he's going to stay at the whatever institute or whatever that he was the head of. And then in addition to that, he's going to be on Biden's COVID response team. Again, he said that if Biden asked him, he would say yes. And then Biden has said, I want him to be on my team. So nothing's official yet, but yes.
As of
everybody the
day that we're recording this. Yes. So this is also the guy, and I don't care what the fuck you think about how he's handled this, how he's been diplomatic, how he's done everything. He was also on board for the AIDS epidemic, and we haven't done shit to fix that. AIDS is still rampant. Well, is it rampant? I think it's just...
I have no idea.
There's never been a cure for it, put it that way, with all the science that's been developed upon it. And fuck it. Let's just backtrack to what I absolutely know. Is when he came out at the very beginning of this and said, masks don't work, don't buy them. And then he came out later and said, I knew that masks work. I was trying to save them. I'm paraphrasing.
He poo-pooed their effectiveness. He did
correct. And then he came out and said, we knew back then that they do work, but we are trying to save them for the important people, i.e. the medical staff, so that they'd have enough to take care of the people.
And that has morphed all the way into Redfield, the CDC director, testifying in front of Congress and saying, and I'm not paraphrasing here, that the mask is more effective than a vaccine. That's the level we've got to.
So science, the team of science is always sucking Fauci's dick. And I'm saying, that dude sold you down the river and you don't care. He said, I'm willing to let all of you fucks get sick as long as we have enough for the people that are going to take care of you to wear masks. That, to me...
if you believe him and the things that come out of his mouth.
But how can you now? Once there's one chink in your armor, the entire thing is flawed. The entire armor is flawed once you have a chink, in my personal view. You have my absolute trust until you don't. And when he lies for whatever reason, he's already said that he's already set a precedent for himself that he will tell a falsehood to protect himself, to protect other people that he thinks need protecting. So he'll lie to me. He'll put me in danger to protect other people, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, but...
And this isn't a shit on Fauci. He probably tried his best, whatever. Fuck it.
I mean, but he doesn't deserve any of our... That's the thing. Like, it's not incumbent upon us to apologize for opinions that hurt your feelings, right? You are the people, and again, there's a significant overlap between the same person who says, the experts have to do it, listen to the experts, all that kind of stuff, and the same person who uses the phrase conspiracy theory, right? That person is the same person who says the science, almost all the time, right? And it's because, quote unquote, the science has become their, and again, it's the science as dictated to them through CNN or MSNBC or ABC or whatever. It's dictated to them, and that's their version of the science. Are the same people that are running around shouting conspiracy theory because they can't, won't, and absolutely refuse to engage in any sort of analysis deeper than the most surface of levels.
Most banal.
And so, yeah, of course it's easy for them
to
show
get a win? Can banal be the vocab word of the day? So I can finally have
you can have one.
Word.
But let me go in.
Easy win.
Let me go in just briefly on this because, again, already long in the tooth. But just on that insular topic of the science, okay, I can show you, and we'll link to them in the show notes page, a CDC meta-analysis of the effectiveness of masks, where the conclusion of masks is literally they don't help in the general population. Stop the spread. The recent Denmark study that showed no statistical significance between a masked population and a non-masked population in terms of viral spread. You have Dr. Sinitra Gupta of Oxford University, Martin Koldorf of Harvard, Jay Bhattacharya of Stanford, epidemiological and virological experts, right? If only experts are allowed to have an opinion, who dissent from this universal lockdown, universal mask aspect, and instead want to focus on what they call focused protection. We know this thing kills the old and the infirmed more than any other populations, so let's focus on protecting them and then get to herd immunity with everybody else so that the protected populations can come out of hiding. Right? Now again, these are world-renowned experts. Dr. Sinitra Gupta in particular is widely regarded as the foremost expert on epidemiology. I don't know, probably not. Of both.
I held that in for 5 minutes.
Epidemiology and virology. Credit. But how many times have you heard of her opinion? Now, granted, this is a self-selected group of people that listen to this podcast. They probably have. But your average, everyday, everything's a conspiracy theory, and I'm with the science, and everything I know I learned from Don Lemon, that person has never heard the name Sinitra Gupta. They're not even aware that there's a countervailing expert opinion on how to handle this virus. Yeah.
I don't think they want to know.
Right, because it goes against their religion.
Right. But it goes against virtue. It goes against their ideal.
You're a bad person. You want to kill grandma if you don't agree with me.
Exactly. No, I'm just thinking critically so I don't do something that down the road is viewed as wrong. Because history determines what was right and what was wrong. Your perspective within the moment doesn't matter at all when history tells you whether you're right or wrong. And I'm trying to make sure I'm on the right side, as we say so many times, the right side of history. Like, my questioning of your religion is simply to help me better understand my decision and maybe to help you better understand your decision.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I'm trying to help you.
No, forget helping them. I'm willing to engage in the conversation with you because maybe there's a chance that you're right and I'll be convinced to your side. But if you don't even try to convince me, if you just say conspiracy theory, you're not with the science, you want grandma to die, you clearly have no interest in convincing me.
Which are all emotional appeals that have nothing to do with logic, reason, or any facts.
Right. And I like you don't care to convince me. So why should you be surprised if I'm unconvinced by your position? Like, I'm going to give you the things that I think support my position, and feel free to, shoot holes through them or say why it's wrong or whatever the case may be. Go ahead. Let's set up a public debate between Dr. Fauci and Sinitra Gupta. I would love it. I would love to see that happen. To have two experts in their field and Fauci's not even an expert in the fields that he claims, but that's neither here nor there. But put them up against each other in an academic public debate and just let people make their own decisions. Why is that such a hard thing to do?
If masks were so prevalent, if masks were so important, you remember when Fauci threw out the first pitch in the Indians
sitting around
playoff
his
game?
family with his mask down.
He was sitting not socially distanced, by the way.
Yeah.
Not socially distanced. They were wearing masks until all of a sudden they weren't.
But that's his family, David. That's the response.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, why wouldn't he want to protect his family? Because he's been in Washington, D.C. for a long time. He's been running around a lot of people. He's been out in the public.
Because he's been responsible the whole time, don't you know?
No, he's better than us. Yeah. That's basically what he's saying.
He's cut from a different cloth of humanity.
Well, and then they poo-poo it. Like, he wasn't wearing his mask. Okay, cool. If you're willing to accept that your leader doesn't wear a mask, the leader of your science that adheres to your beliefs doesn't want to wear a mask, then why are you yelling at somebody on the street that's not wearing a mask? Why are you rallying at anybody for not wearing a mask? If your own leader didn't wear a mask when he was sitting not a foot, not 6 feet, for goddamn sure, 3 inches away from somebody else and David, wouldn't wear a mask.
Don't you realize he is the chief cleric of the science religion?
Correct.
Okay, he's unquestionable.
Correct.
Stop it.
So stop. Okay, if you're willing to accept that from your leader, why do you have any virtue holding anybody else?
Because he says different things, David.
Right.
His actions don't matter to me. He says the things
but they poo-poo that. They're like, he had, So here's excuses for the guy that's literally setting the standard for what you're holding everyone else to the standard of. And he's not even following his own standards. And you're yelling at people on the street for not wearing masks. And then when the people on the street go, well, I think UV light kills this thing on contact, you go, that's not proven. Where'd you hear that? That sounds like a Republican thing. Like, that's cool that you think that, but I can look up on my phone, and I did. They're studying the UV effect on coronavirus. They haven't come to any conclusions, but they said that it doesn't kill bacteria. Well, okay, UV light doesn't kill bacteria. Is this a bacteria? No, it's a virus. What does UV light do to viruses? It said, and even in the same article that I looked up, it said it had a effect on the corona. What was SARS? It had an effect on SARS, and has had an effect on former coronaviruses. But they can't have any positive conclusions on whether or not UV light kills it. Okay, that's cool. Why don't we know that yet? If you're the party of science. If the party of science was really concerned about the American population,
David, everybody knows that if UV light makes it marginally safer,
you can't blame the kids on South Beach for spreading this anymore.
Well, then you can't keep everybody locked in their houses.
You can't keep anybody in their houses anymore. Hey, Dane, want to tell me the one vitamin that's the most prevalent in all the studies that have come out?
Vitamin D.
Where does vitamin D come from, Dane?
Oh, yeah. I think when you're in UV light, your body produces it.
What kind of light does the sun emit?
I want to say UV for 200 Alex.
I think you just got $200 in your account, my friend. And God bless Alex Trebek. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, good sir. Yeah, so, take what we had to say on this episode, throw it in the trash can. God knows everybody who already disagrees with us. Yeah, they already have. But if maybe I don't know. I have this crazy idea that sometimes in life, the follow-up question is warranted. It might be stupid. It might be a crazy question, but why not ask it?
My only point is,
who does it hurt?
I brought it up in the last episode. I'm getting fucking tired, dude.
Everybody is.
I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired of hearing this emotional jumping to conclusions and everything. Like, if you believe in something, I'm asking the most bare minimum of what I think I can ask. Just have a lot of logical reason of why you believe it. If you voted for Trump, have a logical reason. I have stocks that benefited under his presidency. That's why I voted for him again. Awesome. Perfectly logical reason. I have no problem with it.
Doesn't make you Satan.
Doesn't make you Satan, and I don't hold you accountable for any of the bombings that happened or any of the deaths that happened there. I voted for Biden because I believe that he will lead this country into a better place. Fine. If that logically makes sense to me, if that's what you truly believe, awesome. I have my counterpoints that he's had 47 years in office and hasn't led us down the path of altruism yet. But if that's what you truly believe, awesome. Don't come to me and tell me that you believe something because the other side is evil. Don't tell me that shit. Don't tell me that you believe that the vaccine is the end-all be-all because everybody else is selfish and wants to see grandma die. Don't tell me that. Don't force me into making a decision because I'm going to be a bad person if I choose differently from you.
And don't tell me that it's crazy to build a hypothetical, how could this possibly go wrong? Not that it is, not that I'm saying, or that not that we're saying that it's already proven and we've seen it and everything that they're trying to do with the vaccine.
We're not pulling an Alex Jones here.
We're not doing that. But we're saying is, okay, they want to institute the cards. In what direction could that possibly flow? It could be just stop right there and be nothing. And it could flow in another direction. And it's worthwhile to ask those questions when you think about all the people that didn't ask questions of the way that it went really bad throughout history. And
you just brought it up.
Man, I wish more people would have asked questions.
You just brought it up. You just brought up exactly how I wanted to sum up this bow tie, this whole thing. When did it become a crime to ask questions in this country? Questions. Questions are how you find out information. There's no such thing as a bad question.
That's allegedly the purpose of real science, right? It's constant inquiry.
And guess what?
Hypotheses and theories, and then you test them against the information that you have, and you say, well, it stands up or it doesn't. It's constant inquiry. So to say that it's now this monolithic, unchanging, rock-solid, 100% certain dogma, that's not anything that can be called science. It is the very antithesis of what the scientific endeavor, what the scientific method is all about. So stop.
You should be happy.
Stop saying that.
You should be
it's gross.
Happy that there are questions coming in, and you should be happy to answer them. And also, if you don't have an answer for them, you should be happy to go and research and find said answer. That's how you get actual science. That's how you get an actual altruistic society.
Or for the love of God, just do yourself the service of hearing another person out. Just because they give you their opinion and you disagree with it doesn't mean anybody's putting a gun to your head to make you accept their opinion.
Right.
You can still walk away from that conversation going, that dude was fucking crazy.
No one's burning at the stake.
At least you heard them out. If you do it before you ever even hear them out, how are you ever going to be able to question anything until it's too late?
You want to be told what to think.
David, we need to be happy now. It's the end of the episode. We need to be happy. Something good happened today?
Something good did happen. The sunset. The sun is setting right now. It's got a nice little
it's
coloration on it. It's December. Santa's coming, and thank Christ, Santa is not prone to Corona-19, or COVID-19. So all the young boys and girls will still get the fat red man sliding down their chimney, dropping off their PS5s. And hopefully I'm one of those good little boys and girls.
Yeah.
That's what I got to look forward to. That's the silver lining. And
all right.
As long as I have a COVID card. Because Santa won't come to your house unless you have a COVID card.
If there's a way to get on the naughty list, that not having your up-to-date
You
COVID
killed
card
3 grandmas, Tommy. I can't give you your bat that you want this year.
All right. WMDpodcast.com/21 is where to find this. Get on that email list over on the website page. Download, like, share on iTunes, Stitcher, you name it.
Whatever the fuck you listen to us on.
YouTube, subscribe over there, jump in the comment section. People on YouTube are really mad at us. The 2 people that have commented on our stuff. So go be happy with us over there.
Hold on. Please. Let's be on. Can we be honest with the people? The 2 comments that we've had on YouTube have had nothing to do with the subject matter of our episodes. We were called alcoholics by one person and told to die, pretty much. And then what was the last one?
I don't know if that was on YouTube or that was on a different message
that was
board.
That was on YouTube.
But it was something like we were both Nazis and communists. I mean, they are both, 2 wings on the same totalitarian bird, so that's not that surprising.
I mean,
I'm wondering how you get that out of what we have to say. I don't know. It's an interesting thought process.
Help us figure it out. If you did hear that, then let us know so we can correct it.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't want to sound like a Nazi and a communist. I at least want to pick one side, So
yeah, do all that. Thanks for tuning in to episode 21.
We love you all.
Next week on 22.
You got it.